We are working on GMetrix Word Core Skills Review 3. Task 1 wants us to go ahead and split the view of this document. So we'll go ahead and click View here at the top. In the Windows group, we're going to click Split. And then what we want to do is in this top part, and you wouldn't know to do this except for it says leave the outline of the document view open. But what we want to do is on the top part of this, select Outline in the view. And we want to scroll down here to the Fast Ethernet section, because what we want to do is make this note under Fast Ethernet underneath that point. So what I've done is with my cursor in that paragraph, I've clicked this demote button here, and notice now it's underneath Fast Ethernet. Task 2 wants us to protect this document, so we're going to restrict the editing. We're going to click View here at the top, and in the Protect group, we're going to go ahead and select Restrict Editing. Under Editing Restrictions, we'll go ahead and select Allow only this type of editing in the document. And in this drop down, we want to select Track Changes. Yes, start enforcing. And then we want to go ahead and type the password listed below. Make sure you capitalize. Task 3 wants us to go ahead and change the autosave. So we'll click File, Options, Save. And we just want to change this from 10 to 5. We'll click OK. Task 4 wants us to go ahead and publish this as a blog post. We'll click File, Share, Post to Blog, and then click Post to Blog. We'll go ahead and register this later. And what we want to do is go ahead and enter the post title below. Click out of that. Task 5 wants us to go ahead and open the sales report file in our GMetrix templates folder as a read-only, and then we're going to save it as a template. So we'll click File, Open, and what we want to do is map to our GMetrix templates folder, but we actually just want to double-click this PC to get our files open, and we'll select GMetrix. And you don't want to double-click here, you just want to select it once, because in the Open drop-down, we want to select Open, Read-Only. And then what we want to do is click File. We can click Save As here. GMetrix Templates folder. Now what we want to do here is change this to Word Template. And we'll click Save. Task 6 wants us to go ahead and create a new file using a template. So here at the top, we'll click File, New. Here at the top, we'll go ahead and type in Fax Cover Sheet, and we'll go ahead and type Origin just to narrow our search when we search. Here at the top, we want to go ahead and select today's date. And then here in the comments, we want to go ahead and type the message below. Task 7 wants us to go ahead and select the text, even the introduction, all the way to latency period. And what it wants us to do is go ahead and add a strike through in the text. So in the font group, we'll go ahead and select this one right here. And then it tells us to go ahead and change the font color to red. So we'll go ahead and select that. Task 8 wants us to go ahead and modify a style. So we're on the Home tab in the Styles group, and we'll click this More button. If you don't see what you're looking for, which I don't at first glance, go ahead and click this dialog box and click the right click here, the sub-objective heading, because that's what we want to edit. One of the first things we want to do is just go ahead and click Format here, click Font. And what we want to do is click the Advanced tab here at the top, and the spacing group, we'll go ahead and click Expanded. And we'll change the by to 0.75. We'll click OK. And we also want to change this to have the center alignment. We'll also click OK. Task 9 wants us to go ahead and use the Find and Replace feature. So we're on the Home tab, Editing group. We'll go ahead and select Replace. And then the Find What, we'll type that, and the Replace With, we'll also type that below. When we're done typing that, go ahead and select the More to find the Format Font group, because what we want to do is apply italic to the text. Then what we want to do is select Replace Once to find the first instance, and then click Replace, and then we can close out of this. Task 10 wants us to go ahead and find all instances of the word LAN and replace it with the phrase local network. We're on the Home tab, and in the editing group, we'll go ahead and select replace, and we'll type in the information below. And what we want to do is select replace all. Task 11 wants us to go ahead and select these two bulleted items, and it wants us to increase the indent by 0.25. And what you can do is on the Home tab in the paragraph group, just click this button here, increase indent, and that will take care of that. The next thing it wants us to do is to find multiple paragraphs that have the word that begin with the word note. So what we'll do is we'll click the find button up here to find each of them, and we'll go ahead and type in note. And we'll go ahead and select our first paragraph here so that we have that text selected. And what it wants us to do for each paragraph is to go ahead and make it a hanging, have a hanging indentation. So we're on the Home tab in the paragraph group. We'll click the dialog launcher box, and in the indentation we'll select hanging. 0.5 is what we want, so we'll click OK. And we'll go back to our search, and we'll select the second instance and do the same thing. Home, paragraph dialog box, hanging, 0.5, OK. Task 12 wants us to go ahead and add line spacing to the detoxification is key. So we'll put our cursor here on this line, and what we want to do is go to the layout tab here at the top, and it wants us to add a before and after spacing of 18 points. So we'll go ahead and do that. The next thing it wants us to do is to go ahead and put our cursor here in it is important, and it wants us to have line spacing of at least 12 points. So we'll go ahead and we'll select this dialog launcher box, and then the line spacing, we'll select at least, and it sets to 12 point. We'll click OK. Task 13 has a few parts to it. The first thing we want to do is on the Home tab, click the Find drop-down to click Go To, Bookmark, Toxins table, we'll click Go To, and it went ahead and put our cursor here in the document. Now what we want to do is click the Insert tab here at the top and click the Object drop-down, because what we're going to do is insert a CSV file. So we'll click Text from File. And what you want to do is map to your GMetrix templates folder. And notice how it does not show my file. What I want to do is click here to select all files, and notice Toxin appears. So we'll go ahead and insert the Toxin CSV file. We'll click Insert. Now what it wants us to do is to go ahead and select this text. Make sure you don't select too much, because if you do, it's going to mess up your table. But with that selected, we can now go on the Insert tab, click the Table drop-down, and what we want to do is select Convert Text to Table. And we want to make sure that when we convert it, that it's fixed with columns. Okay, we'll click OK. Task 14 wants us to go ahead and in this table, we're going to go ahead and select a new row. There are a few ways to do this. The easiest way is probably just to click this plus button here. And then it wants us to go ahead and in this first column, type in the word total. We'll go ahead and click over here just to make sure the text sets. Task 15 wants us to go ahead and put our cursor here in the second column next to the total. And what it wants us to do is go ahead and put a function in here to sum the totals above. So what we want to do is with our cursor there in the table, we'll click Insert, Quick Parts, Field. The equals formula is what we want. We'll click Formula. And then we want it to sum above, so we'll click OK. Task 16 wants us to go ahead and convert this list here to a bulleted list. So we'll select the text, and in the Home and the Paragraph group, we'll click Bullets. Task 17 wants us to go ahead and select the text for ingredients here. And what we want to do is to apply a bullet, but this time it's going to be a picture. So what we want to do is click the Define New Bullet, Picture. And what we want to do is map to our GMetrix templates folder. And we'll select checkmark, we'll click Insert, and we'll click OK. Task 18 wants us to go ahead and put page breaks in front of two sections. So we'll go ahead and put our cursor here in the first section, the cyclone. And then what we want to do is on the Layout tab, we'll select the breaks drop down and select page. And then we want to find the second one, which is the council. We'll put our cursor again before the 2. We're still on the Layout tab, Breaks, Page. Task 19 wants to make sure that we don't have paragraphs split up between pages. So what we'll do is we'll go ahead and put our cursor here in the document and we'll select Control A to select all text. And then on the Home tab in the paragraph group, we'll click this dialog box. And then we'll click Line and Page Breaks and we'll select Keep Lines Together. We'll click OK. Task 20 wants us to go ahead and insert page numbers at the bottom of the page. It wants us to go ahead and exclude the first page, and it wants us to make sure that we're using the uppercase Roman numerals. So let's go to the Insert tab here at the top, and we are in the header and footer group, page number dropdown, and we want to select bottom of page. It does tell us to select plain number 1. So with that footer in there, now we want to go ahead and click the different first page, and that's on the header and footer design tab. Notice it disappeared from the first page, and then it has the uppercase Roman numerals, but if it doesn't, click Format Page Numbers, and then this is the opportunity to change that. Make sure you close out of the header and footer. Task 21 wants us to go ahead and insert a cover page in this document, so we'll go to the Insert tab here at the top, and then under the Pages group, we'll go ahead and select Cover Page, and it wants us to select Austin. Task 22 wants us to add a custom watermark. So we'll click Design here at the top. In the page background group, we'll go ahead and click Watermark drop down and we'll select Custom Watermark. We'll go ahead and select our text and then type it in. In the font, we'll select Impact. And then the font size, we'll select 80. We'll click Apply. Task 23 wants us to go ahead and insert a footer. So we'll go ahead and click Insert, and in the header and footer group, we'll select Footer. And it wants us to select Facet Odd Page. In this section, or in this footer, it wants us to go ahead and adjust the footer to 0.3 here. And then it wants us to go ahead and close the header and footer. Task 24 wants us to go ahead and make some adjustments to this image over here. So we'll go ahead and select the image. And then from here, there are a few ways to get to this section, but I'll just do it from this box and click See More. The first thing we'll do is go ahead and select Tight here at the top. And then we also want to select Right Only to push the text over to the right. And then the position over here on the horizontal, we'll select Left relative to column. We'll click OK. Task 25 wants us to go ahead and select the title here, The Wonderful Wizard of Oz. And then after we select that text, we're going to change this to word art. So we're going to click Insert here at the top. In the text group, we're going to select the word art dropdown. And then what it wants us to select is the Gradient Fill Aqua Accent 1 Reflection. So we'll go ahead and find that and select it. We'll click off of it. Task 26 wants us to go ahead and apply a glow to this image. So we'll select it here at the top. We'll click the Picture Tools format. And in the Picture Effects, we'll click that drop down to select Glow. And then what we're looking for is the blue 18 point. And then it wants us to rotate this image 350 degrees. So with it still selected, we'll click this and we'll click More Rotation Options. And then on the rotation, we'll just go ahead and type in 350 degrees. We'll click OK. Task 27 wants us to go ahead and go to the third page. And it wants us to go ahead and insert a text box. So we'll go ahead and go to the Insert tab here at the top after we've clicked in our third page. And we want to go to the text group, text box. And then we want to find Simple Quote Style. So we'll go ahead and select that. And we'll type the message below. We'll click out of that. Task 28 wants us to go ahead and change the background color of the text box on page 3. So we'll go ahead and put our cursor here in the text box to get the Drawing Tools Format tab here at the top. And what it wants us to do is to add a dark variation gradient from center. So with that selected, we'll go ahead and click the Shape Fill Gradient. And then the dark variation, we're going to go ahead and click From Center. Task 29 wants us to go ahead and change the configuration so that Word does not check spelling or grammar as we type. So we'll click File here at the top, Options, Proofing, And then we're going to go ahead and uncheck mark grammar errors as you type and check spelling as you type. We'll click OK. Task 30 wants us to add the acronym EOD to automatically be changed to end of day. So we're going to go ahead and click File, Options, Proofing, Autocorrect Options. We'll type in and then replace EOD capital, and we'll replace it with end of day. Click Add. OK. OK. Task 31 wants us to only show the comments from Robin. So we want to go to the Review tab here at the top, and in the tracking group, we're going to click the Show Markup drop-down, and we're going to choose specific people, and we're going to uncheck Joshua. Task 32 wants us to go ahead and select this paragraph, and what we're going to do is add a comment. So what we want to do is click the Review tab here at the top. We'll click New Comment, and we'll go ahead and type the comment below. We'll go ahead and click out of the comment box. Task 33 wants us to go ahead and add an email hyperlink to the text in the last sentence. Email all of your questions. So we'll go ahead and select that text. We'll click Insert here at the top. And what we want to do is in the link section, click Hyperlink. And we're going to go ahead and type the information below. Click OK. Task 34 wants us to go ahead and select this image, and what we're going to do is turn it into a hyperlink. So with that selected, we'll click Insert. We're in the Links group. We'll click Hyperlink. We're going to place in this document, and where we want to place it is Are You OK, Sparky? We'll click OK. Task 35 wants us to go ahead and put a bibliography page at the end of the document. We're actually going to put it on a brand new page. So what we want to do is put our cursor here in the very last line, and we're going to go to the Layout tab here at the top. We'll click Breaks, Page, and what we want to do is hit Delete 3 times to remove the 5 and push the cursor all the way to the left margin. And now what we want to do is go to the References tab here at the top, and under Citations and Bibliography, we want to go ahead and click the Bibliography dropdown and select Bibliography. Task 36 wants us to go ahead and insert a citation at the end of the sentence. Gone are the days of selling products on its own merit. So let's go ahead and first find that sentence. We're on the Home tab. We're going to click Find over here, and let's go ahead and type in merit. And it goes ahead and brings us to that. Now, what it wants us to do is at the end of the sentence, go ahead and insert that citation. So we'll go ahead and click the References tab here at the top. Go ahead and click Insert Citation dropdown, and we want to click Tyler. Task 37 wants us to go ahead and put a table of contents at the beginning of our document. So our cursor is right before characteristics in the document, and now what we want to do is go to the References tab here at the top. And in the Table of Contents group, we want to go ahead and click the Table of Contents dropdown to go to Custom Table of Contents. From here, we want to go ahead and click Options. And then we want to reset this to remove the formatting. And what we want to do is to go ahead and find, and it should be at the bottom, the two things as the sub-objective heading and the scope heading. And we want to go ahead and make them the first and second. So the first one listed is the sub-objective heading. We'll put a 1 there. And under scope heading, we want to go ahead and put 2. We'll click OK, and we'll click OK.